folks, I'm Vasel here, and we're continuing our 2016 coverage. And one of the things I like is that when a great game or a good game is out, they reprint them eventually. That's what I call Vasel's Law. Fantastic games are reprinted. And sometimes the reprints are amazing. And there was a lot of excellent reprints that came out in 2016. So here are in my opinion, the 10 best. Number 10 is kind of a cheat because if you live in the US, you can't get it. But it's Diamant. Diamant is a reprint of Ink and Gold, which was a reprint of Diamant. Diamant, most people in America know it as Ink and Gold, but Diamant was a push your luck style game where you went into the tunnels or a dungeon or a cave and you're seeing how far you go before the whole thing collapses or a troll gets you or whatever. It's a really fun game, and the new production from Yellow is just top notch. The original production of Diamant was pretty good, and then the Ink and Gold was merely an okay production. That's the one that you can still get in America from Eagle Griffin, but the Yellow version is so much better. That's Diamant. Number 9 is Around the World in 80 Days. This is another one from Yellow, but this is a reworking of the Hare and Tortoise game that won the Spiel des Jahres, I believe, in 1979 or 77, was one of those years. This game is a classic game, been out a long time, where you need to move backwards in order to move forwards better. The Around the World in 80 Days theme fit really well onto this. It was it looks kind of like a classic game, even though it's quite modern with some really good components. Highly recommended, Around the World in 80 Days. Number 8 is Ra. Now this one's getting points mostly because it was reprinted. Ra is a great auction style game, and while this one is slightly less quality. I mean, the tiles in it weren't like the wood tokens from the original one, but then again, the rest of it I think looked better. So it was kind of an even wash, but this game has been out of print for a while, and it's this auction game from Rainer Knizia and produced by Wind Rider Games, rest in peace, was a really cool game to come out, so Ra. Number 7 is probably number 1 for many people, but I never played the original, just played the newest one, and that is Blood Bowl. Games Workshop finally, after people have been begging for this for over a decade, reprinted this game with, you can buy the base set with the orcs and humans, and there's other teams, and for Games Workshop, the price on this game and the price on the teams is really not that high. It's a very simple game, an easy game to get into. They streamlined a few things. It still has kind of that classic feeling of Blood Bowl, as far as I can tell from what people who've played the older versions said. But it looks really good. The miniatures are really nice. That's number 7, Blood Bowl. Number 6 is Dominion 2nd Edition. I have to admit, I kind of scorned this when I heard about it because I thought, oh, come on, this is a cash grab. But what they did is they did a couple things. They fixed the text on the cards, made them bigger, clarified them a little bit. They put in new money cards, and they took out 6 cards from the original game and added 7, which I was initially ready to get all irritated about. But the 6 cards they took out were, I don't miss them. And the 7 cards they added were pretty neat. So it's a nice thing. And Dominion's been out for about 8 years. So this isn't like, oh, they just make it a 2nd edition already. No, it's something new and fresh. And they also did it with Intrigue. However, I would recommend that you not get either one of those because they put them together in a big box version. And they also release these as upgrade kits, which is another nice thing that they did, because if you have the original and you don't want to buy the game again, you can just buy the new stuff. So Dominion, 2nd edition. Number 5 is Archaeology New Expedition. I love Archaeology. I thought it was a great game when it came out. Then it was reprinted by Z-Man Games, but this year Z-Man came out with a very beautiful production, it added a few extra things, not a whole lot, but a few extra things. And this simple card game where you're going to see, as you're trading cards around, trying to get different sets of the different artifacts. Wow, the production of this was just gorgeous for a really small game. It's one of my go-to card games if I'm playing with 2 to 5 people. Archaeology, the card game. Number 4 is Mansions of Madness. Now the reason this is not number 1 is because they changed so much in this reprint that it's almost like it's a new game. They kept a lot of the pieces the same. They kept the basic gameplay the same, except they changed how it works by adding an app to it. And the app makes all the difference in the world. It took Mansions of Madness from a game that was maybe in my top 1,000 and now is in my top 100. Really enjoy it. Adds a lot of theming, music. It takes care of some of the busy work, makes the puzzles more interesting, and has me excited about future content that can be added to that app. Mansions of Madness. Number 3 is Sushi Go Party. Sushi Go was a fun game that sold a bajillion copies because it's so easy. It's just a simple drafting game. Sushi Go Party took that and added, it's still that simple drafting game, but now every game's going to be different because I think there's 20 different kinds of sushi cards in that box, and you're only playing with 9 at a time. Maybe there's 30. There's a lot. And so it's really easy to pull them in and out. There's a lot of cards in the box, and they were selling this for an obscenely cheap price. It's amazing how much they were able to put in there. This is a great game that's worked well. When I play it with people who haven't played before, almost invariably someone says, I'm going to buy it after we're done playing. Sushi Go Party. Number 2 is Thunder and Lightning. Thunder and Lightning is a reprint of Hera and Zeus. It is an amazing, Hera and Zeus was a 2-player game from Richard Borg, which is essentially card stratego. Thunder and Lightning is the same thing. It's pretty close to the same theme, but the cards are bigger. They are absolutely gorgeous. Some of the best artwork of the year. It is still that fun back and forth game. They clarified a few small things, added a few more cards. You barely notice a difference. The balance is a little bit better perhaps, but the game was great when it came out, and it's even better now, especially with how good it looks. And finally, number 1 for me is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. This game was basically paper and pencil when it first came out, but now Osprey Games has added flip books where you can mark it with erasable markers. And all the maps are there. There's like player aids to tell you what all the special cards do. They really upped the game. And I'm kind of surprised that I put Osprey on this list because a year ago I wouldn't have even considered them for like best components, but they really upped the game on Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. In fact, one of their games made the shortlist, another reprint, Escape from Colditz, as well as Flick 'em Up, the plastic version, Vinhos from Eagle Griffin, and Citadels. So there's a lot of great reprints this year. Those are my 10 favorites. Tell me what yours are in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel on the Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.